Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the fructose metabolism and its disorders. So if we look at the carbohydrate compound that is fructose, then it goes the series of reaction which ultimately goes into the metabolism like glycolysis, and later it form the glycerol. So let's discuss the various steps of the fructose metabolism. So as you know that fructose is the carbohydrate, and with the help of the enzyme fructokinase it is converted into fructose 1 phosphate, and with the help of the enzyme aldolase B it is converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, glyceraldehyde, sorry. So after forming the glyceraldehyde metabolized to form the glycerol, whereas the dihydroxyacetone phosphate by the action of the enzyme triose phosphate isomerase it is converted to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. And with the help of the triose kinase, the glyceraldehyde is also converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and ultimately from the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate it goes into the glycolysis. So again I'm going to repeat this. With the help of the enzyme fructokinase, the fructose is converted into fructose 1 phosphate, and with the help of enzyme aldolase B it is converted to dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde. The glyceraldehyde ultimately metabolized to form the glycerol, and also the glyceraldehyde with the help of triose kinase is converted to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. And dihydroxyacetone phosphate is also converted to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate with the help of enzyme triose phosphate isomerase, and ultimately the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate goes into the glycolysis. Now let us discuss the various disorders related to the fructose metabolism. The two disorders related to the fructose metabolism that you should know are essential fructoseuria and hereditary fructose intolerance. First of all, let us discuss about essential fructoseuria. The essential fructoseuria is defect in the fructokinase. So here you can see the fructokinase enzyme is deficient in the disorder essential fructoseuria. So it is autosomal recessive, it is benign and asymptomatic. It is benign and asymptomatic because the enzyme hexokinase becomes the primary pathway for the conversion of fructose to fructose 6 phosphate. So it is benign and asymptomatic. So mainly the clinical feature we can see is increased amount of fructose in blood and urine. So this is the only clinical feature we see in the essential fructoseuria. Now let us discuss about the hereditary fructose intolerance. So hereditary fructose intolerance is autosomal recessive and it is hereditary. So the main enzyme deficiency in this hereditary fructose intolerance is aldolase B. So this aldolase B is deficiency in the fructose metabolism in the hereditary fructose intolerance. Here what happens when there is insufficient amount of aldolase B, or when there is deficiency of aldolase B, the fructose 1 phosphate accumulates. So this fructose 1 phosphate accumulates because fructose 1 phosphate cannot be metabolized into dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde. So as the fructose 1 phosphate accumulates, this leads to decreased phosphate availability. So as there is decreased phosphate availability, there will be the decreased glycogenolysis and decreased gluconeogenesis. So due to decreased glycogenolysis and decreased gluconeogenesis, various clinical features appear after the consumption of the fruit, juice and honey. The fructose rich compounds that we eat, if there is hereditary fructose intolerance, then various clinical features appears. So what are the various clinical features? There could be the hypoglycemia, jaundice, the cirrhosis, and there could be the vomiting. So what would be the treatment for the hereditary fructose intolerance? In the hereditary fructose intolerance, it is advised to eat the food that have less content of the fructose or sucrose or sorbitol. So the three compounds like fructose, sucrose and sorbitol, the various food that have high content in fructose, sucrose and sorbitol, we should reduce the intake of those foods who have the hereditary fructose intolerance. So I hope you understood this lecture. We discussed the fructose metabolism in brief, and we discussed the disorders of the fructose metabolism. essential fructoseuria and hereditary fructose intolerance. Thank you.